What is up, everyone? My name is Jake Fine, and today we're going to learn how to play this piece. A good combination of that classic Instagram guitarist sound and some fun unexpected chord changes, which I think are a huge aspect of my playing. A disclaimer, I played this piece using hybrid picking, and if you don't hybrid pick, I think you're going to be in for a lot of string skipping, but that's fine. I mean, I think you can probably tackle this piece any which way that you want to, but if you don't hybrid pick, it might present itself as a unique challenge. Anyways, that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so I think the first step that is essential to learning this piece is to break down the chords. And the way I'm going to do that is that without any particular rhythm in mind, I'm just going to play the chords in order. The reason I'm going to do this is that the chords serve as the foundation of this piece. And really it's in arpeggiating or playing the notes of the chords one by one that I start to develop the melody. But the chords are first and foremost. So here we go. Now that we've done that, we can start breaking down each section and explaining kind of my thought process behind it. The first thing we have is a shell voicing here. It's an E major 7 shell voicing, very common in neo soul. On 9, 9, 11, starting at the G string. And you have a C sharp minor 7 shell voicing here. 6, 5, 7. And then you have, what is that? An A major 7 shell voicing here on 2, 2, 4. And basically with hybrid picking, I am just outlining each of those, right? The next thing you do is do a trill between the 2nd and 4th fret. So you hammer on and pull off. Pick the 5th fret of the B string. And then the 4th fret of the B string. Then you highlight this. Now on the 2nd fret of the D string and 4th fret and 4th fret of the G and B string, an E major 7 chord. And then a G minor 7 chord here and an A sus 2, or I guess you could call it an A add 9 chord. On the 5th fret, 4th fret with your index finger, and then 5th fret of the B string with your ring finger. Shell voicings, trill, then the E major 7, G sharp, minor 7, then the A9 chord here. The next thing that you do is you take this index finger here, which is on the 4th fret of the G string, and you use it as the leading line in the melody. It's a hammer-on from the 4th fret to the 6th fret. Then you pick the next string, the 5th fret, to the 7th, so hammer on, hammer on. And then while keeping sustain with your pinky here on the 7th fret, you pick the 4th fret of the high E string. Then you take your middle finger, which is now available, and you push the 5th fret of the low E string for the A chord. And I suppose this is basically an A major 7 with an added 13 on the top. Then you want to grab this note with your pinky and go a fourth down to this C sharp here with your ring finger on the 6th fret. Like that. So you're outlining the notes of that chord. Then after that, you're creating this passing chord with the, I guess you would call it an A sharp minor 11 here. So you move this middle finger now to the 6th fret and pluck that with the pick. And then outline the chord, which is low E string 6th fret, your ring finger on the D string 6th fret, pinky under it, and then on the 4th fret of the B string to complete the minor 11 chord. And then there's kind of a few things that could be implied here. I did this chord here, which is a second inversion E chord, I believe. Really, I just create a line on the top in which I descend on this scale, a trill from the 4th to the 5th fret, then pick out the 6th fret to the 4th, 6th fret to the 4th, then walk it down here from the 7th fret, 6th fret, and now you land on this minor chord here, which is a C sharp minor 7 chord. So that's the whole riff, right? So remember to do that little trill. And then walk it down. 6, 4, 6, 4, 7, 6, 4. Next thing we do is we highlight a C sharp minor spread voicing, which is, so that's the 4th fret, 6th fret of the D string, 5th fret of the B string. The next thing that I highlight is something like an F sharp minor 9 chord or an add 9 chord, minor add 9. Kind of hard to play here, but what I'm doing is I'm highlighting it by stacking these fifths from the 2nd fret, middle finger on the 4th fret of the A string, pinky on the 6th fret, and then the pinky slides up to complete that minor 3rd. Then doing something that is kind of akin to basically a first inversion E major chord, but I'm doing it by barring with my index finger here on the 4th fret, and my pinky finger is on the 7th fret, and I highlight those first 3 notes. And I'm hammering on my ring finger to grab that octave from the 4th fret to the 6th fret on the D string. And then I'm placing my middle finger, which is available now, to the 5th fret to get this major 7, 1, 5 major 7 shell voicing. Hammering on again from the index to the ring, pulling off to the 4th fret, and then plucking the 7th fret of the A string. Next thing I'm doing is I'm taking my index finger behind here and sliding all the way up to the 9th fret here of the A string, which is an F sharp, and then hammering on to the A, which is the 12th fret of the A string. And then what we're doing here is we're highlighting this chord, root, 2nd, 6, and then the major 7. Just a chord I like. I'm not exactly sure how to classify it or its function, but what you do is you hammer on, start plucking down that chord. So you're barring with your index finger on the 9th fret, and then from this note, the E on the 9th fret of the G string, you're hammering on to the ring finger on the 11th fret. And then you're playing that major 7 interval there on the B string on the 9th fret. And then repeating back to the G string. That's a pattern I like. I like how the hammer-ons create a certain flow. And then to kind of corroborate and reinforce that rhythmic pattern, what I've got here is this C sharp minor add 9 chord right here. right, which is barring on the index finger on the 9th fret, middle finger on the 11th fret, then pinky on the 13th fret of the D string, and then the minor third is up here on the 9th fret on the G string. And then what you're going to do is reinforce that exact pattern we did by plucking 1st string, 2nd string, and then that minor 7 there, which is on the 9th fret with your index finger, and hammering on the 9. Then plucking the G string, back to the D string, and then pull off. So you'll have to practice that a few times, but both go. The next chord we have is something like an open A major 7 with an added sharp 11. Going to be your ring finger on the 6th fret of the D string, the pinky under it, and the index finger on the 4th fret of the B string, and then the open E on the top. If you're going to sweep, you would just sweep down it. Or you can hybrid pick it. Next thing we've got is a B major chord with an added 9. You have the open B and E on the top. And what you're doing is you're plucking with the index finger, stacking those fifths. Index finger here on the 8th fret of the G string, and then plucking the open E there. I like that because they're a minor second apart, right? So you get this like tension, but it's very beautiful. And continuing with that theme there, I'm going to go for the 6th minor in the key that we're in, which is E major. And then I've got my middle finger on the 9th fret, my pinky finger on the 11th fret of the A string, and then my index finger on the 8th fret of the G string. And then plucking the open B and E. The next riff is a little bit tough if you don't have at least a fundamental knowledge of pentatonics, but I can break down a bit what my process is. The first thing I should mention is that after this, it now goes into 8th note triplets. One thing that I should mention is that it now breaks down into triplets, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. First thing you're doing is going down this pentatonic shape with a trill from the 11th to the 12th fret. 14th fret, 12th fret, all the way down until you reach this C sharp here, which is the 11th fret. 14th fret, 12th fret, 13th fret, 11th fret, 14th fret, 11th fret. And then what I'm doing is I'm moving down just on a 2-string pattern in that pentatonic shape. Right, so 11, it's 11, 9, 11, 9, 9, 6, 9, 6, 6, 4, 6, 4, then 4, 1, 4, 2. So in total. Now what this brings us in a perfect position to do chordally is that we have the index finger already here from the pentatonic on the 1st fret of the G string and the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. And what that lets us do is just strum straight down and do an A major 9 chord. I'm reaching up here with my pinky to the 7th fret of the high E string, and then down a minor 6 to this D sharp, 4th fret to the 5th, hammering on from the 2nd to the 4th on the high E string, pulling off with a little bit of a flick, then from the 5th fret to the 2nd fret, so following that pentatonic once again. Then next I'm sliding up from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret with my middle and my ring finger on the same fret of the D and B string with plucking the open A down here. And what this gives us is like a nice Lydian sound in A. Right, so you get the sharp 4 on the top. Next thing I'm doing, I'm not sure quite how every guitarist classifies this chord, but it's a really nice sounding chord. I suppose you could call it an A major 9. over a C sharp. Right here. You've got your index barring on the 4th fret starting on the A string, your pinky finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and your middle finger on the 5th fret of the B string here. What I'm doing is I'm hammering on with the ring finger to the octave, which has been a theme in this piece, and then pulling off. And then moving the same exact shape 2 frets up. Continuing with that rhythmic theme, I've got my index finger barred here on what is, I guess, kind of a first inversion E once more. So barring, and then the pinky is on the 7th fret. Ring finger hammers onto the 6th fret of the D string, and then pulls off sharply. And then just push your middle finger down to the 5th fret of the low E string and let everything ring out. Then you do the entire pattern one more time. But now, when you reach for your middle finger to go to the A here to resolve to the 4 chord, you want to place your ring finger on the 6th fret of the G string, so you get this A6 chord type of sound, which is a chord that I really like. So let's go through the piece one time slowly, and I'll narrate my thought process as I go. We start at the shell voicings on the top, descending in a pattern, a 3-string pattern. Hammer on and pull off, leading us to the E major 7, G sharp minor 7, A add 9. Walk it up, passing chord, descending. C sharp minor spread voicing, F sharp minor add 9. Then slide all the way up, hammer on the A and D strings. Continue with that rhythmic pattern. Open A major 7 added sharp 9. Then go to the B add 9. Then on the 6 minor chord here, down the pentatonics. This open minor 6 interval. These fun chords with this rhythmic pattern. Middle finger on A, then same pattern. And that is the piece. Well, that pretty much wraps up today's tutorial. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.